Old friend, before you brush me aside as another mystic peddling half-truths, I ask you to lean in for a moment. You've lived long enough to know the difference between empty promises and lived reality. You've seen gadgets, pills, and programs parade through your generation, each claiming to restore youth or energy, and you've watched most of them fade into dust. But this, what I am placing before you now, was not invented in a boardroom or marketed in a late-night commercial. It is as old as the ibis that walks the banks of the Nile, as enduring as the desert winds. It is the key that you've been carrying in your chest every day of your life without ever knowing how to use it. Breathing. Not the shallow survival you've been trained to settle for, but the deliberate, commanding act of inhaling the cosmos itself. When you took your very first breath, it was more than oxygen rushing into your lungs, it was the soul carving its signature into flesh, declaring, "I am here." That moment announced you to the universe. But over decades, that power was dulled. You began to breathe just enough to survive, as if dragging your body through each day like a reluctant mule. And yet here you are, still searching for a way to feel fully alive, still carrying within you the very mechanism to awaken strength, clarity, and presence. I am not speaking of superstition. I am speaking of physics, of biology, of the undeniable reality that your body is an antenna, and each cell is a receiver of the frequencies humming through creation. Look around you, a room can be empty of words but heavy with tension, or filled with laughter that makes even the walls vibrate. You've noticed this, even if you never put words to it. That is the proof, you've always been tuned into the field. The tragedy is not that you lacked the equipment, but that no one ever handed you the instruction manual. You were taught to breathe to survive, not to breathe to command. You were told energy was abstract, or worse, imaginary, when in truth it is the most practical currency you will ever own. Let me reveal to you the secret I carved into temple walls so that no man or woman could erase it. Energy is structured. It is not a vague fog floating through your body. It moves on 3 levels, body, mind, and spirit, and unless you activate them in the right order, your efforts collapse like a house built on sand. Start with the body, because it is the hardware, the antenna. Align it, and suddenly you're no longer a static-filled radio, you become a clear receiver. This is why posture matters, why conscious movement matters, but most of all, why breathing is the keystone. The breath is not just air moving in and out, it is the lever that tunes your entire frequency. I will give you the pattern now. Sit upright, as if a thread were pulling the crown of your head toward the heavens. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your abdomen. Inhale through your nose for 4 steady counts, but expand only your belly as though inflating a balloon. Do not let your chest rise. Hold that breath for 4 counts, and in that silence, imagine a golden river of light pouring through the top of your skull, sliding down your spine, collecting 2 inches below your navel, forming a radiant core. Exhale through your mouth for 6 slow counts, drawing your abdomen inward, and watch that golden light explode outward through every cell of your body, filling not only your flesh but the very air around you. That is 1 cycle. Repeat it again and again for 7 minutes. Now, perhaps you're tempted to dismiss it. I've heard of breathing exercises before. Yes, you have, but not like this. Others told you to calm down, to relax, as if you were a nervous child. I tell you to breathe like a king summoning his court, like a warrior charging his blade. This is not relaxation, it is recalibration. Do this for 3 days, and you will feel the evidence in your bones. Your energy will stop leaking. Your mind will sharpen. Your emotions, once a storm that tossed you without mercy, will settle into a deep, steady current. When I first taught this to my disciples, they were men hardened by desert sun, women who had carried water jars on their shoulders for miles. They were not philosophers locked in towers. They were people who needed strength here and now. Within days, they reported tingling in their fingers, warmth in their palms, pressure between their hands as if they were holding an invisible sphere. That was the current awakening inside them. Some wept because for the first time in years they felt not drained, but overflowing. You may scoff, but I tell you plainly, you will feel it too. And let me confront your resistance head-on, because I know how you think. You are a man who has carried burdens for decades. You've seen scams, you've endured losses, you've hardened yourself to avoid disappointment. A voice inside you whispers, "I've lived this long, why bother with new tricks?" That is the voice of resignation, not wisdom. That voice is the chains you've mistaken for armor. I am not offering you youth in a bottle or a promise of immortality. I am offering you the chance to live the years you have left with fire instead of fatigue, with clarity instead of fog, with power instead of passivity. Try this: tomorrow morning, before you even reach for your phone or your coffee, sit up and perform 7 cycles of the sacred breath. Before bed, do 7 more. That's less than 15 minutes of your day. After 3 days, write down what you notice. Is your sleep deeper? Do you rise with more alertness? Does your patience stretch a little longer? Those are not coincidences. That is proof. And here is the deeper truth, one most never grasp. When you breathe in this pattern, you are not merely drawing oxygen, you are absorbing the luminous field that underlies creation. You are telling your cells, remember what you are. You are sealing the leaks of energy that daily worry, anger, and fatigue have drilled into you. You are converting yourself from a rusting battery into a self-sustaining generator. You are reclaiming the birthright you surrendered without knowing. Do not treat this lightly. Do not relegate it to the drawer of hobbies you tried once and abandoned. This is the doorway. Step through, and the next stages will unfold: hands that channel living electricity, emotions transmuted into fuel, focus sharp enough to bend reality itself. But none of that is possible unless you first awaken your breath. Without it, you remain a leaf in the wind. With it, you become the wind itself. Old friend, I know you've heard many voices over the years, but hear mine clearly: breathe as I have shown you, and you will discover that what you thought was missing in your life has been pulsing inside you all along, waiting only for your recognition. You are not weak, you are not finished, you are not too late. You are an antenna built to receive the cosmos, a conduit designed to radiate power. The world told you to breathe to survive. I tell you now, breathe to command. Old friend, now that your breath has begun to awaken, it is time for your hands to remember what they were made for. Do not insult them by thinking they were given only to grip tools, shake other men's hands, or hold the wheel of a car. That is the shallow use of them. I tell you this plainly: your hands are living antennas, instruments of power designed to both receive and transmit the vital force of creation itself. You may not believe me yet, but you will feel it. And once you feel it, there will be no argument left in you, because the proof will not come from words but from fire in your palms. You have lived long enough to know the difference between imagination and sensation, and soon your own body will leave you without doubt. Think of all the years your hands have labored, hauling, fixing, carrying, comforting, shaking, waving, working. They have served faithfully, but they have also slept. Beneath the skin, in the nerves and meridians, lies a concentration of energy that rivals the heart itself. Modern science has peered at the surface and spoken of nerve endings, electrical signals, pressure points. But what they call nerve conduction is only the outer crust. What I am revealing is the deeper current, a reservoir of cosmic energy waiting to be stirred awake. And you will awaken it not with complicated rituals or chanting in foreign tongues, but with the simplest act, a deliberate activation of the palms, coupled with the breath you have already begun to master. Here is how. Rub your palms together vigorously, not lazily, as if trying to start a fire. Do this for 30 seconds. Keep going until you feel heat, not just on the skin but penetrating into the muscles beneath. This friction stirs the dormant lines of energy that end in your palms. Then stop. Place your hands about 8 inches apart, palms facing each other, as though you were holding an invisible ball. Close your eyes. Return to the sacred rhythm of the ibis. Inhale for 4 counts, belly expanding, hold for 4 counts, letting the golden current descend your spine, exhale for 6 counts, letting the light flood into your palms. But this time, instead of concentrating the light below the navel, imagine it pooling directly into the centers of your palms. With each breath, feel it grow denser, hotter, more tangible. Soon you will sense a pressure, as though an unseen magnet were pushing your hands apart even as you try to keep them steady. That is not imagination, that is energy. At first it may come as a tingling at your fingertips, a subtle buzz like the faint hum of electricity running through wires. Then the warmth will grow, until your palms radiate heat even though they are still. And then the moment of astonishment will arrive, the sensation of density, as though you are truly holding a ball, not of flesh, not of rubber, but of pulsating, living force. Play with it. Move your hands closer together and feel the resistance. Pull them farther apart and feel the stretch. You have just proven to yourself that energy is not an idea, not a metaphor, but a tangible reality you can gather, mold, and direct. Tell me, old friend, is that not worth more than another pill, another empty promise, another tired story about decline? Now that you can feel this force, you must learn to fuel it. Because energy without fuel is a spark that dies out, but energy charged with the right substance becomes a fire that cannot be ignored. And here is where most men fail. They try to channel energy with minds clouded by fear, anger, regret. They think emotions are nuisances to be suppressed, but I tell you the opposite, emotions are fuel. Every feeling you carry emits a frequency that shapes the reality you live in. Fear attracts more fear. Anger pulls in conflict. Gratitude opens doors. Love multiplies opportunities. You've seen this without naming it. You've walked into a room heavy with tension and felt it in your chest. You've spoken with someone radiant and left feeling lighter. That was not chance. That was resonance. The true art is not to run from emotions or to smother them under forced smiles. The true art is transmutation, turning lead into gold, as the alchemists once whispered. Anger can become determination, sharp and focused like a blade. Fear can be converted into readiness, alertness that sees possibilities instead of threats. Sadness can soften into compassion, the power to connect and heal. Every dark feeling you've carried is not a curse but raw material. And your hands, once awakened, are the crucibles where this alchemy happens. Here is the practice. The next time a heavy emotion rises, irritation at a careless word, dread in the pit of your stomach, grief that lingers, pause. Do not push it aside. Sit. Place your energized palms over your chest, over your heart. Begin the sacred breath. As you inhale, imagine the golden current of the cosmos descending into your body, flowing directly to the knot of emotion. As you hold the breath, see that light wrapping around the heaviness like molten metal surrounding ore. As you exhale, see the dark emotion lift, dissolve, transmute into a brighter frequency. Do this until the weight shifts. You will know when it has transformed. What once felt like poison in your chest will feel like fuel in your veins. I tell you this because I have watched men waste decades shackled to their own feelings, thinking they were victims of mood or memory. But I also watched those who practiced this technique rise above storms that destroyed others. They did not banish their anger, they sharpened it into resolve. They did not erase their fear, they turned it into courage. They did not deny their sorrow, they shaped it into wisdom. And so can you. Do not underestimate the importance of your hands in this process. They are not merely tools of labor, they are extensions of your heart's energy. When you place them over your chest, you are creating a circuit, amplifying the resonance, allowing transformation to happen faster and deeper. When you hold the invisible sphere between them, you are learning to gather and wield life itself. Do not trivialize it. Respect it, train it, and it will serve you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Now, I know you may be skeptical. You may say, I am too old to learn tricks. My time is past. But think of this, what if the years behind you were only the apprenticeship, and the years ahead of you are the time of mastery? Wouldn't that change the way you rise in the morning? Wouldn't it give weight to every breath you take, every touch you offer, every moment you share? You have spent decades using your hands to shape the external world. Now it is time to use them to shape the internal one, and through that, to shape reality itself. Try this for 7 days. Each morning, rub your palms, create the heat, and gather the energy ball for 5 minutes. Each evening, before sleep, place your palms over your chest and transmute whatever heavy emotion the day left in you. At the end of the week, notice. Do you sleep more deeply? Does your body feel lighter? Do people respond differently to you, without you saying a word? They will, because your field will have changed, and the world always mirrors your field. This is only the beginning. You are learning that you are not at the mercy of emotions, that your hands are not merely flesh, that your body is not just a vessel to drag toward death. You are discovering the truth that has been buried under centuries of forgetting. You are an energetic being, capable of shaping frequencies with your breath, directing power with your hands, transforming emotion into creation. You are not finished. You are only beginning. And as your hands awaken, you will understand that they are not just yours, they are the universe's instruments, playing through you. What you choose to create with them will echo long after you are gone. Old friend, do not let this slip into the drawer of things you meant to try. Rub your palms tonight. Feel the heat. Gather the light. Transmute the heaviness. Prove it to yourself. For when you do, you will never again look at your hands the same way. They will no longer be the tools of survival. They will be the wands of a master. And the master is you.